When we think about the Sabbath day, it is first introduced to us as the day when God rests and assesses the totality of his work. He looks at the entire creation, not just one specific creation, but the entirety of all the different things that he has made on the first 6 days, and he assesses them and declares them to be very good. God's assessing of his work continues in his assessing of our work. God has given humankind to continue his creative work within the world. Adam is commissioned and trained in continuing God's own work. He's taught to name the animals, one of the things that God left uncompleted in his work of creation. He named the creatures of the first 3 days, the different orders of creation that were established. He did not name the animals. He gives that responsibility to man. Now, as man does his work, man has his work assessed by God. We see one of the first instances of this in the story of Cain and Abel, as they present themselves and their labors to God in an act of sacrifice. Cain brings fruit from the soil, and Abel brings some of his lambs. Now, in both of these cases, these are presentations of persons and works. Both of them present themselves with the fruit of their labors to the Lord as an offering. When we approach God in our worship, we are doing the same thing. We often think about the day of the Lord as a final day that we are awaiting at the end of time. But yet each time when we gather together as the people of God, we are bringing ourselves into God's presence for judgment and assessment. We see this in events such as the Lord's Supper as described by Paul in 1 Corinthians 11. He talks about the way that the Corinthians are coming together and they are being judged on account of the way that they are treating their neighbors. As a result of their failure to share with the poor and their greed and their impatience for each other, they're not recognizing the body and they're coming together for judgment. In the same way, when we come together, we are anticipating a judgment of the final day. We are preparing ourselves for that judgment as well. Each time that we gather together as the people of God, in our liturgy, we are rehearsing a final judgment. It helps to keep short accounts with God. And one of the reasons why we gather together in the way that we do is to practice this, to present ourselves and our works on a regular basis, so that when it comes to the final assessment of all creation in that great, grand judgment, we will not be found wanting. We will have come before God's judgment on so many occasions before that we will be able to stand in his presence, knowing his welcome and secure in his acceptance.